Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Eric with SweetSpot DFS, going over a first look of the DraftKings salaries for the 2025 PGA Championship. It's just going to be me going through the DraftKings salary board, looking at every golfer, their price tag, maybe not every golfer, but all the important ones. And then we're just going to theory craft what golfers would make sense to put in our lineups at their price tag. It is a bit unique this week. I can't wait to get into it. But before we do that, I just want to remind you, since this was a big hit during the Masters tournament, I'm going to run it again for the PGA Championship. It is a winner take all. It's a win the pot type of giveaway. It's going to start at $20, and for every one new subscriber to this channel, as you can see all the way over to the left, I have time-stamped this, or I have stamped this at 831 subscribers. So every one new subscriber from 831 adds $2 to this giveaway. $2. For the Masters, we got it up to $50. And if you want an entry into this giveaway, you got to do one of two things, and they'll get you an entry for each time you do it. For all the videos that I'll be posting this week, go into the little comment section right down here, leave a comment. That's it. That's all you got to do. That is one way to get an entry. So you get one entry per video for when you comment on it. The other way to get an entry is to share this on social media. It doesn't matter which social media platform you share it on, whether it's X, whether it's Instagram, whether it's wherever. Just find the little browser to share it, the link in the browser, post it to whatever social media platform again that you're on, and you get an entry for a giveaway for this giveaway that way. And I will be running the giveaway Tuesday, May 13th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be going live Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And it's just going to, if you haven't been in these Tuesday live streams, it is literally theory crafting. It's narrowing down our player pools and then building lineups with basically our anchor plays. I usually ask you to find me 2 to 4 golfers to build your lineups around, and then we go from there. I use the SweetSpot DFS optimizer, which is an optimizer I created. It uses all of the SweetSpot process included in the optimizer. We don't have to do any manual labor whatsoever. We just put in the golfers that we like, hit run optimize, and it'll spit us out a lineup. I usually build about 10 lineups per person who's interested in lineups being built. And it isn't so much me telling you who you should play. I'm letting you guys give me 2 to 4 golfers to build lineups around, and according to the SweetSpot process, it will give you the best rated golfers. It's up to you guys if you want to save those. It's up to you guys if you want to modify those. It's up to you guys to do whatever you want with those lineups. It is just to get the creative juices flowing to create lineups. It isn't my way of selling you lineups or anything like that. It's just, hey, the SweetSpot process is over 90% correct every single week. I think actually for this year, for the year of 2025, there's one week where it didn't work out. Every single week, the SweetSpot process was nails. It was spot on. So if you want to go into the Tuesday live stream and build lineups with me, let's do it. It's a live stream. And I interact with my chat better than anybody else in the industry. I guarantee you it. Better than anybody else in the industry. So come there. If you want lineups built, sweet. If you want to ask me questions, all the better. I have a SweetSpot, or I have a website called SweetSpotDFS.com. It's a great website. I'll showcase it there. I'll use the tools there. I'll be using the tools throughout most of this week. I'll be putting out a lot of videos. So just be aware, be tuned in, or stay tuned for those videos. And again, to get entries into the giveaway you see here, comment on those videos and share them wherever you can. I will help you for helping me out. And then this also ties into the other giveaway that I've been running, and I'll continue to run until we reach 1,000 subscribers on this channel. So once I reach 1,000 subscribers on the channel, I'm giving away $1,000 worth of giveaways. I have an annual membership to SweetSpotDFS.com, and I have a lifetime membership to SweetSpotDFS.com. Those the lifetime's worth $600. The annual is worth $200. There's a lot of great tools on there. Again, I'll be showing them throughout the videos here in the future, the near future, not this one. Again, we're just going to go first look, DraftKings salaries on down. But this is the SweetSpotDFS.com giveaway. The one way to get an entry into this giveaway is I'm going to show it to you. We're going to make this real easy. If I can find it. All right. Go to SweetSpotDFS.com. Go ahead, go to login. Just hit the login button. Now, if you don't have an account, that's fine. Go here to join now. It's very simple. And then choose the free option. There's obviously other options for you to choose, but choose the free option. Hit select, and you're going to see it doesn't ask you for a lot of information. It's just going to ask you for a first name. Well, a username, first and foremost, a username, a password, and then you confirm your password, and then provide an email address, and then confirm your email address. That's it. It's just those 5 pieces of information. As you can see, it doesn't ask you for a credit card. Nothing. Super simple. If you've not yet created an account, go do so, because that's the only way you are going to get an entry into the giveaway you see on the screen. Again, I'm giving away $1,000. And oh, by the way, the other giveaways that I am doing a part of this are 2 $100 cash giveaways. 2 $100. So if you're not even interested in using SweetSpotDFS.com, or you're just not interested in using fantasy sites for research, that's fine. Go create an account, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and then that's how you'll enter this giveaway. And then once we reach 1,000 subscribers, just be on the lookout. Pay attention to the videos that I'll be posting. I will try to do my best to say, hey, we just reached 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to give away that $1,000 giveaway. So be on the lookout for that. Stay tuned for all of that, for anything related to SweetSpot DFS on YouTube. All right, let's get right into this thing. Been long enough. Let's do our first look. Now, the first thing, honestly, that I saw, because I like to speculate with friends and with other people in the community, how expensive do we think Scottie Scheffler is going to be? And then from there, what is his price difference going to be from the next golfer? Obviously, we all know it's going to be Rory McIlroy. He's been the hottest golfer in the world this entire 2025 season. How much cheaper is he going to be from Scottie Scheffler? And to my surprise, he was $1,200 cheaper. $1,200 cheaper. My thought process was this could be close to one of the first weeks that Rory McIlroy could be more expensive than Scottie Scheffler. And the reason being is, 1, the success that Rory's had this year, and 2, we're going to Quail Hollow. This is usually the golf course that hosts the Wells Fargo Championship. And at the Wells Fargo Championship, Rory McIlroy has done pretty well, including a victory last year. So you would think of all tournaments, that Rory, is going to either be a little closer or might even surpass Scottie in salary. Nope, not this week. $1,200 cheaper. Now, that's the first initial thought I had. And then I thought to myself, dang, Scottie's 13.4. At the Masters, he was 12,600. There must be a 5K range. There has to be a 5K range. So that's the first thing I looked at. As soon as I saw the difference in salaries, I scrolled on down, and what do you see? We do have a 5K range. $5,900 down to $5,000. Now, I actually do this every single week, just so you know. If there is a 5K range, which I don't remember seeing one in this 2025 season. Oh, there was one time. I'm pretty sure there was one time. I actually adjust the salaries, and I have a cheat sheet that you guys can all access by going to SweetSpotDFS.com. I shouldn't have closed the browser. I did though, so my apologies. Let me bring that up. You can access, we're going to cut this, so it's fine. You can access the cheat sheet. No. Every single year, Jesus Christ, Eric, holy fuck. Anytime there's a 5K range, I actually adjust the salaries. And I don't remember if there was a 5K range earlier this year. I think there was one time there was a 5K range. You can, or every single time there's a 5K range, I adjust the salaries. And you can find these adjustments on the cheat sheet that I provide every single week that we have a 5K range. I do provide a cheat sheet every single week. You can go to SweetSpotDFS.com, go under Fantasy Tools. There's a drop down, click cheat sheet. You'll get to another page. Scroll down. You're going to see this cheat sheet. But scroll down until you find this one. Click here, and that'll bring up a Google Sheet. You will find down at the bottom, it says price conversion. One of the tabs at the bottom says price conversion. And this is what it looks like. Now, this does not have the PGA Championship salaries included in here. But this is exactly what it'll look like. So for all the salaries that we do have, what I'll end up doing is there's normally an X amount of golfers in the 10K range. Then there's an X amount of golfers in the 9K range. And there's usually always, and I kid you not, always 10 golfers in the 8K range. So I will probably adjust this where there are 5 golfers in the 10K range. And then there'll be 7 golfers in the 9K range, 10 golfers in the 8K range. And I don't care what their price tag is. Obviously, if I go back to the DraftKings salaries, you can see, you know, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 10K golfers. Well, I'll probably cut that into 5, and then I'll grab the next 7 golfers underneath that, and that'll probably hit us to 9,400, and we'll go from there. And then on the flip side, on the bottom end, I only want $6,000 as my lowest price. I don't like this 5K garbage. To me, this is stupid. I don't like it. I understand why DraftKings is doing it. It definitely adds a different layer of analysis when it comes to it. But when I scroll down, you're going to see, you know, 5,300 on any given tournament is similar to a $6,400 price tag. And then if I scroll up a little bit, $6,100. So that little benchmark or breakpoint, whatever you want to call it, for the 7K range is probably going to live somewhere in between the $6,200 to $6,300 range. So I will determine that here shortly, and I will update this as the week goes on. I will put the PGA Championship price tags in here and then convert it for you guys, because a part of the sweet spot process is analyzing the salaries, looking at past optimal lineups, and trying to determine, you know, what price points do we want to put into our lineups? Because that's a part of the whole DFS strategy, is fitting all the golfers you can into a lineup and keeping them under the salary cap. So you have to take into account salaries. It has to happen. So I will adjust these salaries that we see down here at the 5K range. So just throwing that out there. I want to be transparent. But yes, we do have a 5K range. And if you really truly wanted to go Scotty, Rory, you're going to have $6,100 left for your remaining golfers. And you might think, well, yeah, we have a 5K range. Why not? I can come down here and I saw Lucas Glover at 5,900, right? Yeah, Lucas Glover at 5,900. That works out. Tom Hoagie's also another, you know, standout golfer. So too is Sam Stevens. And then, you know, to fill it out, I can actually come all the way up here to $6,800 and grab one of these guys like say Denny McCarthy, maybe like Harris English. Try to find someone who fits Quail Hollow well. And now we have a lineup that looks really goofy when it comes to salaries, but in any normal given week, you know, I just showed you some of those salary adjustments that I made in a previous tournament. Well, Harris English would normally be a 7K golfer at $6,800. And then Glover and Hoagie would be very, very close to being 7K golfers themselves. And if you have been to this channel before, I always advocate for starting your lineups with a 10-9-8, 7-7-6 approach. And that means starting with a golfer at the 10K range, then dropping to the 9K range and grabbing a golfer there. Same goes with the 8K range, grabbing 2 golfers in the 7K range, and then 1 golfer in the 6K range. Well, how in the heck are you supposed to do that this week? It doesn't make any sense. That's where you have to come back around to SweetSpot DFS, watch the videos on YouTube, go to the SweetSpotDFS.com, you know, pay attention there. I will add all that information where you need it. And again, Tuesday night when I go live, we'll talk more about this, and I'll cover it a little bit more in depth. That way you guys won't be confused, and a lineup as goofy as this looks actually is a bit more balanced than you think it would be. Now, obviously, Scheffler and McIlroy are the most expensive golfers, so therefore, you know, 13,000 and 12,000 seem like really, really high price tags, except for, or especially for experienced DFS players. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. In order for Scheffler to pay off his price tag, he's going to have to finish first or second. Well, what did we see at not only the Houston Open, but the Byron Nelson? Those 2 tournaments, he was the highest priced golfer, and he was in the optimal lineup in each of those tournaments. So is this the same thing we're going to see? Scottie Scheffler looked pretty dominant at the Byron Nelson. And then Rory McIlroy just looks dominant, just straight up period, this whole entire year. So again, a lineup like this looks goofy because of the stupid salaries DraftKings has put to each of these golfers. I think it's stupid. I have zero regret for saying that. I don't think that's a bad thing to say. It is very stupid to have a 5K range. I think it's dumb. I think it should be 6K the minimum, and then put Scheffler at 13,400, and then put Rory at 12,200. Then you really have decisions to make. Like, actually price these out to make sense. This doesn't make any sense because it's still not handicapping you. You can, like, Lucas Glover is a perennial PGA Tour player. Tom Hoagie is a perennial PGA Tour player. Sam Stevens is still, you know, has to get a victory on tour before we can even state him as like a perennial PGA Tour player. But Harris English is also one of those guys. So you can definitely build a lineup starting with Scheffler and McIlroy. It doesn't look, I wouldn't even say it doesn't even look bad. This looks just as good as if I was to put, trying to find some, like Davis Thompson. I don't trust Davis Thompson worth like anything. And Dustin Johnson at 7,600. Max Homa at 76. What are we doing? Some of these salaries are stupid. Justin Rose, who just withdrew from the Truist Championship, which is the week before this tournament. He's $8,000. This all should be flipped. Not necessarily, but it should be. Some of these prices are just insane. And it has nothing to really do with what just happened last week. Like, a lot of people like Justin Rose for the Truist Championship just because it's a new golf course. It's an older style golf course, and Justin Rose has played these tournaments very well in the past. He's also 40 some years old. He's way older than where he's done well at some of these newer golf courses, or not newer, but first time playing golf courses, but older golf course tracks. Like, so now that I see this again, this is for I will say this, before creating this video, I looked at the salaries. I kind of wanted to do a first experience or a first reaction type of video to the salaries, but I did peek and I did see that Scotty and Rory were very expensive, and I thought to myself there had to have been a 5K range, and then I went and looked. I'm like, yep, there's a 5K range. I actually didn't see where some of these other golfers where their salaries were ranked. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. I'm so like, I saw the Max Homa thing is okay. Let's go through more of this. I can't help myself. This is astonishing. I think the prices are priced the way they are because casual players are coming into the market, are coming into these contests, and they want you to be able to build an all-star lineup. Like, can we even do something like this? No, we can't. Okay, good. Having the 3 most expensive golfers in your lineup, yeah, can't do that. Not available. Can't. But yeah, you could go Scheffler Rory, Scheffler Bryson. I mean, geez. Yeah, you could. Nope. Okay, I wanted to see if you can do 3 10K guys with Scheffler. Okay. So I could do this. I could do this with 3 low 5K golfers. I do have to remind you guys, there are 25 PGA professionals. And what that means, this is the PGA Championship. It is in it works with the PGA of America, and what the PGA of America does, they basically hold qualifiers. They have a sectional qualifier and then a national qualifier, and basically all your PGA professionals that are interested in trying to qualify for this tournament will go play their sectionals. I don't even know if there's regionals. I can't remember, but they'll go to their sectionals, and then a group of qualifiers will then go to nationals from there. And these are PGA professionals from all over. I'm pretty sure it's the United States of America. It could be elsewhere. I just think it's wherever it's PGA of America. So it would be all the PGA professionals within the United States. They go to their sectionals, and then they go to the nationals. And I think there's about 125 that qualify for that tournament. And then they basically, it ends up being the top 25 golfers qualify for the PGA Championship. Now, the most famous person you've ever heard is Michael Block. He is one of those guys, and Michael Block is $5,500 this week. Michael Block was one of those, it was a couple years ago. He finished 15th at, man, I can't remember the tournament off the top of my head. One of those golf courses that, I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyways, he finished 15th, and that, created a buzz, rightfully so. A PGA professional, basically a pro shop attendant, a golf course manager. There are other terms we can use for these guys. People who give lessons, instructors, golf instructors. It's like they wear multiple hats at golf courses. They are not only the manager, they give lessons. They're the merchandiser half the time. Sometimes there are merchandisers, but either way, they run a golf course, the business end of it. And they work hand in hand with the superintendent, and sometimes they work underneath the general manager, director of golf, whatever. But these PGA professionals, the golfers that are really interested in the, this PGA Championship, these are your really good golfers that went the PGA route because they do enjoy giving lessons, or they do enjoy working in the golf industry, but they also want those playing privileges. So again, Michael Block is the most famous person you've ever heard. I like to play the percentages every single week. I play percentages. Michael Block is the most successful PGA professional since I started doing this. My data goes back to 2013, and you're not going to find another golfer within that frame, that time frame from 2013 until now, that had the success Michael Block did. Michael Block was not in the optimal lineup the week that he, here, let's double check. This is what we can do at SweetSpotDFS.com. Go to Pass Optimals, and we're gonna pull in the PGA Championship. I think it was 2 years ago, could be 3 years ago. And so again, you can go to, this is behind a paywall, so you gotta be a paying member in order to see this. I think it was 2023. And I want to get to 15th place. Michael Block, he was $6,200. Yeah. So 2023, Michael Block, $6,200. He was not in the optimal lineup. He scored 72.5 points. If I were to sort this by points, he actually was right here. He was close. Don't get me wrong. He was close to being in the optimal lineup, but he also wasn't in the sweet spot optimal, nor was he in the GPP winning lineup. So if you're wondering where I'm looking at, it's these columns here: DK optimal, GPP winner, sweet spot optimal. But he was close. And the primary reason why he wasn't in the optimal lineup is because there were enough 6 and 7K golfers above him that you could mix in with Brooks Koepka and Victor Hovland. So the main reason I'm saying any of this is I play the percentages. The percentages matter to me. And if it wasn't for a hole-in-one from Michael Block that week, he wouldn't have had this many points. You get 5 points for a hole-in-one. You get 8 points for an eagle, which is what he got on a par 3 that weren't really giving up that many birdies. So that's 13 points. You can eliminate 13 points. Let's just say he gets a par. You know, he wouldn't have finished 15th. I guess this is just one of those moments. It was like, I'm kind of saying what if, and a lot of people don't like the what if game because this happened. So this whole what if thing doesn't matter because this did happen. That's cool. My main point is he was not in the optimal lineup. He was not in the GPP winning lineup, and he was not in the sweet spot optimal, which takes down a GPP winning lineup. It's the best lineup to use $49,600 of the salary and above. That's what the sweet spot optimal is. And it takes down a GPP. He wasn't in any of those lineups. And my whole thing to you guys is, don't waste your time with these PGA professionals. If you see a name down in the 5K range that you don't even know who the golfer is, don't play them. And oh, by the way, don't play Michael Block either. I'm going to save you some money. Unless you're one of those that just likes to throw your money into it and just, you know, run the vibes, run with whatever feels good, then you do you. It's your money. Use your money however you want to. But if you're interested in winning money, don't play a PGA professional. So a lot of these guys down here in the 5K range, you don't know them because they are PGA professionals. But again, my number one piece of advice, if you don't even know the golfer, you've never heard of the name before, don't play them. I play the percentages, like I say, like I said earlier in this video, I play the percentages. The percentages tell you not to play a PGA professional because, again, from 2013 until now, one guy was close. One guy finished inside the top 20. He also was the one guy that finished inside the top 30, the one guy that finished inside the top 40 of PGA professionals for any of these PGA championships dating back to 2013. Just save it. Don't play any of these guys. There's no reason. Even if there's a cute story like Michael Block, if that happens again, remember that guy wasn't even a part of the optimal lineup. And the optimal lineup is the perfect lineup. He wasn't in the GPP winning lineup, which is the Millie Maker. He was also not in the sweet spot optimal. So I know I'm kind of wearing this out, but I just want to be absolutely clear. And I want to continue to remind you, don't play these guys. So essentially, anyone who's $5,200 and below, probably not worth playing. We do have Rafael Campos, who is a PGA Tour winner from this year, it was from the fall season at the Bermuda Championship. He might be worth a play. He's not a PGA professional. He's a PGA Tour professional, but he's not a PGA professional. There's a distinction. Some of these other guys, it's just not worth playing. Just not worth playing. Lauer is mixed in here with some Kiefer guy. John Kiefer. No idea who he is. He played the Pro Tour, finished 13th. No idea who he is. He could be a PGA professional. John Catlin, he's not a PGA professional. Oh, he played some live events. Okay, good for you, man. Anyways, again, my piece of advice, if you don't know the golfer by name, just don't play him. Unless you hear one of your streamers talk about, hey, this is actually a decent golfer to play. Okay. That's kind of my, okay. So that's just my quick take on PGA professionals. Just avoid it is my 2 cents. Avoid the PGA professionals. All right, let's get back into the salaries. I know that was a long-winded thing talking about the PGA professionals, but I just want to make that clear. When we go from Scheffler, McIlroy, the next price guy is Bryson DeChambeau. He should be. Obviously, he's been playing really good golf on the LIV Tour. He was in contention at the Masters until he wasn't on the final day. Seems pretty good. It's really funny to hear a lot of the degenerates out there talking about his one-length clubs. What did I say during the Masters? It's stupid to handicap him because of those clubs. It truly means people who have never played with one-length irons, which includes everybody who talks about them, doesn't know how they operate. They might know the general aspect of them. Yeah, one-length irons are usually lengthed out, or the length of the clubs are usually set at a 6-iron or a 7-iron length. There are some challenges that come with that. Your pitching wedge will go higher than it typically does because a thing called leverage happens in the golf swing. Your lever is higher, meaning the ball will, well, it shouldn't even so much mean it'll go higher. A lot of it just has to do with the weight of the club, has to do with the arc of the club. All of that stuff will hit the ball higher. Bryson hits it pretty far. So he's not swinging wedges full out like some of the nerds out there on the internet would. Who cares? When it comes to around the green with creativity, that has nothing to do with length of clubs, that has everything to do with what's in your brain. And by the way, I know all this because I play one-length irons, and my short game is pretty fucking good. Sorry for the swear word. I want this to be an evergreen video. My short game's pretty good. Has nothing to do with the length of my irons. Actually, it does. It makes me more comfortable being a tall person with relatively short arms. I'm not sure if that's Bryson's case. He's not as tall as me, but I also don't know what his arm length is compared to mine. Like, I just don't know. But it's just such a, it's such a canned response by most of the degenerates get it from some of the PGA professionals that do this DFS stuff. And the PGA professionals that do this DFS stuff, a lot of them are old school minds, and old school minds like everything to be standard. Standard length, standard loft, standard lie. Figure out how to hit the clubs. Change your swing to hit the clubs. Some of the new age professionals believe swing your swing and adjust the clubs to your swing. Who cares about one-length irons then? Seriously, who cares? Anyways, that's my quick rant about one-length irons. Bryson DeChambeau has been playing some really good golf, so play Bryson. Going from there, Ludwig Åberg. He's been struggling as of late. He did win earlier this year at the Farmers, or not the Farmers, the Genesis, which was played at Torrey Pines. I don't mind Åberg at this golf course. We will be using Quail Hollow course history, and I will be using PGA Championship tournament history because I do think it matters. And both of those will just be going into my model. When I go over my buckets, which is a part of the bucket system, it's unique to my channel. I will be using PGA Championship tournament history and not course history because not everybody plays the Wells Fargo Championship. I think Scotty Scheffler, I don't even know how many times he's played the Wells Fargo. Why would I want to include that? Like, I'd much rather just include the course history aspect of it towards the model, which just, puts out a score to rank them. And then the optimizer chooses golfers based off of their score, basically. So that's how it goes. So I'd much rather do it that way. And then with the buckets, use tournament history. Anyways, I do like Ludwig. And then Xander, Xander's iffy. I'm trying to figure out how I feel about Xander. If I see like 2 rounds at the Truist that show that he's playing good golf, then I would be much more interested in playing Xander at the PGA Championship. Now, I will say this, I was watching coverage of the Wells Fargo Championship from last year. Xander went ahead. He had a 2-shot lead on Rory McIlroy, who ended up winning the tournament. Rory did. After hole 7, Xander hit got an eagle on hole 7. Rory ended up parring that par 5, and then from there, Rory got a couple birdies while Xander parred. They were tied. They ended up going. Actually, I don't even remember where Rory won the tournament. I don't think it was a playoff, but Rory ended up winning the Wells Fargo. Xander had a lead on Sunday in the final group. So Xander at, Quail Hollow, which is the golf course being played, I think that's fine. And him being 10,700, not a big deal. I do like that. Colin Morikawa, 10-4. I saw the first round at the Truist. He played really well, was close to being first round leader. He kind of slowed down quite a bit towards the end of his round. He got to like 7 under really fast, and then he just stayed at 7 under. And I think his Friday round, when the weather got really bad, go figure, Morikawa melts in rain. He ended up shooting even par, and I have no idea where he's at right now. I'm recording this on a Saturday. So either way, if he shows life Saturday, Sunday, I think Morikawa is a fine play. Rahm, he struggled at the Masters at 10,200. That's a good flyer, honestly. And really 10,200 is more or less like 98, 9,900 in a typical field, especially now that we have a 5K range. So think of Jon Rahm more as a 9K golfer. And when you see that, in my mind, I'm just like, well, of course. Like, why wouldn't I want to play Jon Rahm? Justin Thomas. Now, I kind of picked him to win the Masters because I just knew Justin Thomas throughout this whole year has looked so good at just golf. He looks more in control of his game. He's putting better. He did have Joe Greiner on his golf bag not too long ago. Won the RBC Heritage, which was a signature event, which included the defending champ Scotty Scheffler in that tournament. He played really good golf there, and he's been playing really good golf. So you put Justin Thomas, who this PGA Championship is being played at Quail Hollow. And the last time it was played at Quail Hollow, let me put it up on the screen right now. I keep tabs of all the results. So if we go, oh, by the way, Oak Hill was the golf course that Michael Block played. Oak Hill. In 2017, this tournament was played at Quail Hollow, and who was your winner? Justin Thomas. That was his maiden major championship. His first PGA championship was at Quail Hollow. I think playing Justin Thomas this week is actually a pretty solid play. I have no issues going to Justin Thomas at $9,900. Again, after I adjust these salaries, it's going to look more like he's a $9,500, $9,600 golfer. And at that price, you could pair up Scheffler and JT, or Rory JT, or DeChambeau JT, and having $6,600 on the table, like remaining. Again, we could go down to $5,900 Lucas Glover, throw him in there, and that bumps us up to $6,900 per player. And then maybe Bud Cauley, who's been playing somewhat decent. We can then scroll up and find ourselves, I don't know, let's go with Harris English that I used earlier. And then we have $7,800 to work with, which is one of these guys up here. And again, the 7K range isn't that great in this tournament, and neither is the 8K range. So if you wanted to start something like this is very similar to what a 10.98.776 would look like. $6,800, by the way, will most likely be a 7K golfer. This will be a 10K. Scheffler will be considered a 10K golfer. JT is already 9K, but he'll also get adjusted down to a lower 9K after I do adjustments. Burns will probably stay in the 7K range, most likely, after I've seen other adjustments happen. But Harris English will jump up to the 7K range. And then Bud Colley would be a high 6K golfer. And I think even Lucas Glover would be a high 6K golfer. Colley would be close to a 7K. So it would really look like 10-9. Maybe Burns hits the 8K range. Probably not. But we're really close to doing that 10-9, 10-9-8, 7-7-6. But it mostly looks like it would be a 10-9, 3 7s, and a 6. And anytime we see Scheffler at $13,000, that is the most... what's the word I'm looking for? It means the same thing. And when we see Scheffler in the 13K range, doing a 10-9, 3 7s, and a 6 is the most common optimal lineup build with Scheffler at 13K. It goes, because anything north of 10K, 10K and above, I consider a 10K golfer. So I consider Scheffler a 10K golfer. So him being $13,000, but as a 10K golfer, then you grab a 9K golfer, 3 7s and a 6. That's the most common Scheffler optimal lineup build that you can build. Whenever he's 13,000 and above, it is the most common salary build. So doing something like this, I think it makes total sense. Let's move on and let's try to get through this somewhat quick. I've been talking a lot about a lot of things and not really getting player by player. Hovland at $9,800, that seems like a gamble, and I think that's fine. He definitely has upside to pay off his salary, but he's also been very erratic and out of control of with his game. I don't trust it. And $9,800, I don't like that. I'd rather him be like $9,200. And I know that's only a $600 difference, but that's a huge $600 difference. I would think he'd be better suited for that price tag. Brooks Koepka, I have no idea what he's been doing on Live. Just awful. And he missed the cut at the Masters. Now, Brooks is a golfer that can turn things around, and this is a major champion or a major championship. We know he turns it up during major championships. I still don't like it. You know, on Live and this becoming, he's getting older with every year that goes by, that magic and that ability to turn it on during major championships, I think gets less and less every single year that he plays. So where it did used to work, I don't think works anymore. I know he's been in contention of previous championships, but again, he missed the cut, the Masters. There was a 3-day cut at the Masters? What? That makes no sense. Did he withdraw? No, this actually would be 1 under. I don't remember there being a 3-day cut. I wonder if, what? What happened? Did he actually miss the cut? I don't think he did. He did miss the cut. He was 5 over, which is exactly what this score is right here. That's 5 over. What is this? All right, DraftKings. DraftKings is just messing with our brains. Yeah, there was not a 3-day cut. Holy moly, I thought I was going crazy. All right, DraftKings, whatever you say. They're like, whatever. He's on Live. We're gonna mess around with his game log. So be on the lookout for that. Be careful with that, I should say. All right. Joaquin Niemann, what's the adage here? He's never had a finish better than 20th or 19th, I should say, at any major championship. Despite winning a lot of these tournaments on Live and looking to be one of the best golfers in the world, he doesn't show up during major championships. $9,600, it's a bit steep. I wish he was like $8,900, $8,800, something like that. Cantlay at 95, Mr. $9,500 Cantlay. I think that's just his nickname from now on. because Cantlay hasn't won a tournament in forever, but because his pedigree and his talent is so good, I think he's just going to forever be in the 9K range. And I think this is exactly where he should be. So it might be a good time to get on to Patrick Cantlay and see if he can actually pull one of these things through. Because he doesn't have bad finishes. It's just, does he pay off his price tag? And at $9,500, it's iffy. I mean, I don't see a top 10 on his game log. Genesis Invitational and the American Express, was he an optimal lineup golfer in any of those? So Cantlay, oh, he was in the optimal lineup. Okay. So, and he was $9,600. Like I said, Mr. $9,500 Patrick Cantlay. And then it was the Genesis, right? Oops. Again, you can find this tool at SweetSpotDFS.com. Genesis, Patrick Cantlay. He was also in the optimal lineup at $9,400. Okay, cool. Yeah, so if you want to play Patrick Cantlay at 95, he's right in that middle price. You know, he's at the price he's supposed to be. So by all means, if that's a golfer you like, play him. 9,500 is a perfect price tag for him. Matsuyama at 94, I think is wonderful. He hasn't really shown very good games since winning at the Century, but it's Hideki Matsuyama. He has his pedigree is elite. So at 9,400, it's not a bad flyer. Jordan Spieth trying to be the next golfer to complete the career Grand Slam. Do I think he will? Probably not. But I don't mind Jordan Spieth at this event. Actually, no. I'm going to take that back. Jordan Spieth's game is a bit more sharp than it has been at any point in time in the last 3 years. I'll give him that. And if we still think Jordan Spieth has the magic beans, I think it's a perfect time to play Jordan Spieth. Finished 14th at the Masters. This 4th place finish, I would say, is probably a little, I don't know, as impressive as it was, because he shot 62 in round 4. I still, like, the Byron Nelson's a wide open track. And Jordan Spieth, despite gaining a lot of distance off the tee and increasing his off the tee numbers, even with those things getting better in his game, he's still too erratic off the tee. And I think that's going to matter here at Quail Hollow. So with that being said, $9,300 is another gamble. That's like the same gamble, in my opinion, as playing Brooks Koepka. So for me, or Victor Hovland, like, that's another gamble that I just wouldn't feel comfortable at a first look saying, oh yeah, play Spieth, he's been playing really good. I think Cantlay is a better value than Jordo or Koepka or Hovland. That doesn't mean Cantlay is going to play better than them, but I personally, just from a numbers perspective, think that's a better play. Just I understand that, you know, anything that you say, it's another word I can't think of. I understand any opinion is subjective, but I think this is more of an objective take. Like, Spieth, because of how erratic he is more of a risk than playing Patrick Cantlay. And I also apply that to Hovland and Koepka. I think that's objective. I could be wrong. I'm not showing you any stats, but I just, in my mind, it's an objective take. And of course, anything you think about, whatever your opinion is usually subjective. So I understand. I get it. But let's move on. Shane Lowry at $9,200. Great value. Don't mind playing him there. Mr. $9,200 or $9,300 Tommy Fleetwood is $9,100. Tommy Fleetwood is chronically in the $93,000 to $9,000 price range. And that's because Tommy Fleetwood doesn't win. If you want to go Tommy Fleetwood, sure, go for it. It's just there's not enough finishes that are good enough to even, I don't know. Yeah, top 15, top 16, whatever. That's fine. It's not going to win you a GPP. If you're chasing $1 million, this isn't your play. If you want to do a balanced lineup, it feels like, hey, go Cantlay and then go into Fleetwood, and you got a good 1-2 punch to start out your lineup where you don't have to dig too far, down into the salary in order to finish your lineup. That's fine. But Fleetwood, I don't think is good enough to get you a GPP. Could be wrong, just don't think it's good enough this year. Hatton coming from the Live Tour. Hatton's always live to do well. Finished 14th at the Masters. So all the live finishes, I don't know, just disregard, I guess. 14th is good, but it's not good enough for you to win a GPP. So I guess I don't hate playing Hatton at $9,000. I think that's good. I don't have an issue with it. Russell Henley at $8,900. Love it. Jason Day at $8,800. Nah. He just withdrew because of like a hip issue. This guy has chronically been injured. If it's not vertigo, it's back issues. And he has had chronic back issues. I'm not touching him. 8th place finish at the Masters is wonderful. But he played the week before and finished 27th. He played in a lot of the tournaments that he's supposed to play in. He didn't withdraw from any of those. When J-Day is withdrawing from tournaments, be careful. And speaking of be careful with Will Zalatoris. He is playing in the Truist Championship, which again is played right before the PGA Championship. We'll see how he finishes, but he had withdrawn the week before at the Byron Nelson. What for? It would be nice to have an injury report, but it doesn't say anything. It just says he just withdrew. If it was from illness, that's fine. If it's from his back that he's had issues with, that he had surgery on, that's a bigger deal. My rule of thumb is don't play Will Zalatoris the second week in a row for a tournament. Actually, don't play Will Zalatoris if he's played consecutive weeks in a row. So I'm going to probably stick to my guns on that one. I do like Will Zalatoris's skill level. I don't trust what he can do. So I'm going to throw that out there. Just be careful. Min-Woo Lee, he's going to have to be a straighter driver of the golf ball. The guy mashes it off the tee, but this is a very good indication as what his weaknesses are. Keeping it straight. Same goes with the Masters. Here at the Houston Open, it was wide open. You could hit the ball anywhere. And you saw that. It was one of his final holes. He just pushed it so far offline. He was in the pine straw, and it's like he missed his target, the fairway, by like 40 yards, 30 to 40 yards. He punched out, and he was able to continue to make par because it's a wide open track. It's a wide open golf course. The rough was cut down. It's just like it was an easy course. It suited his skill perfectly. The Masters, which is a bit more tree lined, you got to be a bit more accurate than the Houston Open. Still pretty wide open. People would say it's actually easy to hit fairways at the Masters, but it was tighter than the Houston Open. And he finished 49th. Then you go to the RBC Heritage, where you kind of take driver out of a lot of people's hands and you got to play more strategic. He finishes 61st in a no-cut event with 80 golfers, 75 golfers, something like that. Yeah, I'll pass. I don't care for Min-Woo at 8,500. Cam Smith, he's also erratic, but these look pretty good. He did miss the cut at the Masters tournament. That is kind of concerning because he plays the Masters well, usually. So, yeah, 84, with price tags as forgiving as they are, 84 isn't terrible. That's another gamble. Let's put it that way. Corey Connors seems like a perfect fit for this course. And at $8,300. Now, Corey Connors, I've been giving nicknames to people for their price tags. Corey Connors is chronically $7,800 in most tournaments. You see him at 83. I imagine after I adjust salaries, he's probably going to be like 81, 8,000. So he's going to be creeping down to that 7K range. And at that point in time, it's like, yeah, that's exactly where Corey Connors should be. That's a phenomenal price tag for Corey Connors. It is also a phenomenal price tag for Sungjae Im. I'm very curious as to how he's going to play at the Truist Championship. I have no idea. Again, I'm recording this on a Saturday. I don't know how he finished, after Saturday's round. But if he gets himself a top 10 finish at the Truist Championship, I am like, I won't be 100% committed. I never play golfers at 100% exposure. But when I say I'm 100% committed to playing Sungjae Im, it means whatever the baseline exposure level I have for him, I'll probably double it, because I think he's turned the corner. In my mind, in my opinion, or the feeling that I have about Sungjae's game, he did play fairly poorly the entire year leading up to the Masters. He finished 5th there, finished 11th at the RBC Heritage as a no-cut event. This is disappointing because, again, this track, the Byron Nelson, was pretty easy. Should have played better than what he did. But he did have 3 rounds in the 60s and then just sputtered out in the 4th round. Still like that. 21 birdies, it's pretty darn good. 21 birdies, 1 eagle, maybe too many bogeys. When Sungjae was on, the years that he had played, 30 plus events in a year, he was one of your leading birdie or better makers. So just from a scoring wise, if you think Sungjae is 99% back, it's definitely worth a play. And at $8,100 or $8,200, whoo, I think it's a really good price for Sungjae Im. Patrick Reed. We knew he was going to show up for the Masters. He plays the Masters tournament well every single year. And he was one of those guys that very interested in playing. I think he was $7,200 at the Masters. He was in the low 7K range. 81. I like Patrick Reed's resiliency. I do like the fact that if a course is going to play tough, Patrick Reed can stay up the top of the leaderboard by not making mistakes. Patrick Reed also impressed me quite a bit at the Masters. So at $8,100, I think that's fine. And like, seriously, Connors, Im, and Patrick Reed. I skipped by Wyndham Clark. Didn't even realize that, but rightfully so. I'll get back to Wyndham Clark. But yeah, Patrick Reed. These 3 golfers, Connors, Im, and Reed, I think are going to be, and even Straka down here, are going to be golfers a lot of people are going to gravitate towards. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of lineups try to be somewhat balanced that way. It might be 3, it could be 2, maybe 3, less likely 4, but could be 4 of those golfers mixed in with one of those high price golfers and then 1 low price guy. I think that could be a lineup consideration. So let me touch upon Wyndham Clark. The guy has sucked for a very long time this year. I don't trust him, and he's not playing well at the Truist right now either. So there's no way I'm going to go back to Wyndham Clark. He had that magical year where he won the US Open and the Wells Fargo Championship. So that's one thing too, by the way. He did win the Wells Fargo at Quail Hollow. So keep that in mind. He does have decent course history, but with Wyndham Clark, it's all mental. Like, I don't think there's a bigger pretty boy, like mentality wise guy on tour outside of, or that's, I don't think there's anyone. I don't want to use the word better because that's not the word to use. I don't think anyone carries himself higher than Wyndham Clark does in the pretty boy category. If you watch him play golf, it's more to do with how he looks when he golfs versus the results that happen. Obviously, the results are poor, so he, I wouldn't say lashes out. His temper is pretty in check, but he is known for having a bad temper. And he's known for working with the sports psychologists to have a better mentality on the golf course. And he still talks about it to this day, even after winning the US Open. I understand that mentality issues obviously can happen at any point in time. Everything that just revolves around just your mentals. I understand that. I get it. We, as a community, are playing a game where we're trying to put 6 golfers, as Chad Eckert would say, one of my good friends, we are trying to put a parlay of 6 golfers into a lineup that will help us win thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. Wyndham Clark is not one of those dudes I want in my lineup. I have zero trust at all of putting Wyndham Clark. I just don't think he's in a good place. Let's put it that way. All right. Jay Rose just withdrew from the Truist Championship. I didn't see what the reason was, but he was DFL, dead last on the leaderboard. He's an old dude. He played the Masters well. I don't want to play Justin Rose in any tournament where it isn't a limited field and where there isn't a cut, which this week at the Truist Championship, that was the case. It was a limited field and there was a cut and he still withdrew. I don't want to play Rose. Sepp Straka, on the other hand, I think the guy has an elite skill level. It's just, putting it all together for 4 rounds of golf. And I think this would be a good track for him, actually. So I do like Straka. Berger at $7,900. This is a fair price tag. At the Truist Championship, I think he's $8,900. So this is a good come down from that. And I think it's a good play. I'm going to breeze through this. Thegal at $7,900. That's fine. We'll see how he does at the Truist. He's actually been playing pretty bad golf as of late. But at $7,900, that's a fair price tag. I wish he was probably closer to 74, and maybe after adjustments, maybe he would go down to 74, but I don't know. Tom Kim, on the other hand, he is playing in the alternate event. That's how bad he's been playing as of late. I don't trust him either. He's not the elite golfer. And quite frankly, if you've never been in this channel before, last year during the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, I was making bets with Byron Lindeque from Back Nine Bets. You've probably seen him on the Fantasy Degenerates. He's on the Mayo Media Network. He's a good friend of mine. I'd make bets with him because I thought Tom Kim's mental game was so small that I ended up just calling him Small Hands Tom Kim, because he's a little boy. When he has no confidence, he turns into a little boy. And he's very young, by the way, so it all makes sense. Turns into a little boy who's got small hands. And it's kind of like a fun tongue-in-cheek way of making fun of the president right now of the United States, where it's like, it's like, no, my hands are really big. No, you got small hands, dude. Very small hands. That's how I think about Tom Kim. Small hands Tom Kim. I think he's definitely back into that role of small hands Tom Kim. And I certainly do not want to play small hands Tom Kim this week. Mav McNeely was supposed to be a good play at the Truist. He's not playing that great. Last time I checked, he was -1 for the tournament and like 50th place. And there were only 72 golfers. So I don't know what to make of that. I thought he'd play better. Obviously, he isn't or hasn't. I don't mind him. At $7,800, that's fine. Siwoo Kim, this is also fine. $7,700. I don't mind playing Siwoo. Sam Burns, I think, is actually a good value play. So he played well. He played under the radar, honestly, at the Byron Nelson, the CJ Cup Byron Nelson. He played under the radar. This right here, T13, T5, all rounds in the 60s. That tells me that Sam Burns is turning his game around. So I don't mind Sam Burns. And we're on a Bermuda track, because that's how the Quail Hollow is going to be playing for the PGA Championship. It's all Bermuda. I laughed when I saw Max Homa's price tag. I did that earlier in this video. I don't know if you guys were here to see that. No. If Tom Kim has small hands, Max Homa has baby hands. Like, I'm not one of those that has a sentimental feeling towards golfers who show their emotion on tour or anything like that. I honestly don't care. Max Homa has got to be one of the worst mental games on tour. He's back to when he first started on tour, where he missed all those cuts and had nervous breakdowns, one after the other or whatever. I think we're almost to that level. Like, he is There's so many things just going wrong for Max Homa. I just don't care to play Max Homa. Dustin Johnson, on the other hand, doesn't care about golf. He doesn't have mental issues. He just wants to go out fishing. Whenever he's done with golf, he just wants to get in his boat and go fishing. He got a special invitation to play this tournament. I don't know why. I don't think it matters. DJ, though, at $7,600, can he spark some of the old magic that he has, or that he had when he first was on tour? Remember when he was on the PGA Tour, he had won every single year he was on tour for 20 years straight. Obviously, he moved to Live, and I think even the year before he went to Live was the first year he did not win a tournament. So his game was already trending down. I don't know if DJ is even worth a click this week, so probably not. Matt Fitzpatrick, don't mind. I think this is fine. $7,500. The results don't show anything super great, but if you were to tell me, I don't know, maybe not. I guess you know what? We're probably at the price range where a lot of these are just lottery tickets. Matt Fitzpatrick is a lottery ticket. Those results have not shown anything great. And that's, I don't know. He is a US Open champion. I think he's got a pedigree that can turn anything around. I'll say this. When I talk about some of these things, if you feel or hear some little bit of uncertainty with a golfer, just know I am going to lean into that uncertainty. And so someone like Matt Fitzpatrick at 7,500, I would never play him more than 14% in my lineups, because I am that uncertain about Fitzpatrick. I just don't know. And I don't want him to tank any of my lineups. And maybe 14% is high. Maybe I'd put him at 12%, maybe 10%. And we'll see when I get there, but just note that, okay? If you hear any uncertainty in my voice, like Max Homa will be less than 3% owned in any of my lineups, maybe even 2%. DJ will be about the same, 4% of my lineups. Fitzpatrick, yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, Fitzpatrick will be about 10% of my lineups. I still like him, but I'm not super sold on Fitzpatrick. Bobby McIntyre, Robert McIntyre. Again, I think he has a pedigree that can win tournaments, but the same uncertainty that I have for Fitzpatrick kind of relies in McIntyre. And you can see his points per game is better than just about anyone near him. Fitzpatrick is, averaging 55.2. Bobby Mack is 70.4. Again, these are DraftKings averages, so it's however long DraftKings wants to go back to create these averages. So he looks out of place compared to Fitzpatrick and DJ. He's lower priced than DJ, but he should be priced higher than these guys. So I mean, you can go that route, and I think that's fine. I think he's a good price. Finau, I don't know what's going on with Finau. I heard he was in some legal battle somewhere around the Masters, or just before. I guess it was all of the year leading up until the Masters. And either it was dismissed or it was resolved or something like that. I don't think anyone knows really what's going on with that. Nothing's really been disclosed. So if you have something like that that's been bothering you throughout the year, that obviously affects your gameplay. So if that is the case, and it seems to be the case based off of all of his game logs, I think he's an easy fade for me. I don't want to play Finau. He'll be in less than 10% of my lineups. I'll probably put the exposure at 7 or 8% for Finau. Brian Harman, I also don't really care for Brian Harman. Did finish third at the RBC, did finish first at the Valero Texas Open, 36th at the Masters. That was his best finish in a long time at the Masters. He did have a 13th place finish one time. So at the Masters, that is. I'd have to look. If he's got good course history at Quail Hollow, I guess I don't mind playing Brian Harman at $7,400. That's fine. Davis Thompson, or as I like to call him, Davey Boy Thompson. Very, very underperforming. I don't like Davis Thompson at $7,300 is exactly where he should be. He's chronically $7,200. And so I think this is a good price tag for him. Akshay Bhatia at $7,300, I think is a very good dart throw. He's got very high upside and he can make birdies in bunches. So if scoring is easy at all at this PGA Championship, sign me up for Akshay Bhatia at 7,300. Ben An at 72. I got no issues playing Ben An. He's a good ball striker. He just needs to make his putts. That's what it always comes down to. He just needs to make putts. But he makes pretty decent birdies. Just kind of sucks that he also kind of brings bogeys with that. And that's not bad when it comes to DraftKings scoring. Just throwing that out there. So Ben An at 72, that's fine. Keegan Bradley, $7,200. I'd have to look at his course history at Quail Hollow just to see if I truly care to play more Keegan Bradley than what I'd be comfortable with, which I'll be real with you is probably 12%. I probably don't want to play Keegan Bradley more than 12% in any of my lineups. And I'll leave it at that. Cam Young, this is laughable. $7,100. I think at the Truist Championship, his price tag was 62. He's one of the lowest priced golfers in the field. I don't know why he's priced up to 7,100. Again, there's a 5K range here. So some of these prices we can just kind of like eye roll and not make a big deal about it. So yeah, I don't really care about, I don't want to play Cam Young. Ricky Fowler at the Truist Championship, he had a very hot first day. I have no idea where he stands right now, but I had said during the Truist Championship strategy video that I actually kind of like Ricky Fowler. I think he's turning the corner with his game as well. Sergio Garcia, I have no words really for Sergio, and I'm not even sure. I think the rest of this, I'm just going to point out names that I like, that I think we should play. Thomas Dietrich at 7,000, I think is worth the play. 7,000 is a really good price tag for Thomas Dietrich. And he's going to be able to allow you to build lineups pretty easily. Adam Scott, don't really care. Burmester, I don't really care. Aaron Rice seems safe, but don't be confused with the word safe. We need birdie makers. And I guess if this PGA Championship is going to be tough to score, he actually is a good play because he does avoid bogeys better than most. So I do like Aaron Rice, that only on that potential. But yeah, I stay away from him. Harris English, I think a lot. I want to see what happens at the Truist before I even make any decision on him. But at $6,800, I think that's worth the play. As goes for Pendrith, as goes for McCarthy, as goes for Andrew Novak. Andrew Novak, he won the Zurich Classic. He finished second at the RBC Heritage. 2 weeks prior to that, he finished third at the Valero Texas Open. The guy's been running a heater. We'll see what he does at the Truist, but I think he's a good play at 6,600. Rasmus Højgaard is a good play at 6,600. Alex Noren, coming back from injury, is playing decent golf at the Truist. He's worth the play at 66. Jaeger's worth the play at 65. Højgaard is worth the play at 65. David, I have heard this name pronounced so many different ways. I have heard Puig, which I know that's incorrect. I want to say I heard Rom call him Puig, which I think is supposed to be how you say his last name. I don't care. I heard he's supposed to be a good Spaniard, like a good up-and-coming Spaniard golfer. I don't care. Rico Hoey, probably not, although he's shown life at previous events. Probably going to stay away from Rico Hoey. Actually, yeah, Rico at the Byron Nelson was leading that morning wave. He finished 8 under round 1. And then he ends up finishing like this to finish 52nd. He went 63, 73, 68, 73. Yeah, I don't think he's got 4 rounds in him to be up in the top of the leaderboard. So I'll probably not play him. JJ Spawn, never really cared for JJ Spawn. I won't care much for him this week at the PGA. Poston during the Truist Championship, I had said I do like JT Poston. Hearing other people talk highly of him, saying his game is coming around, finishing 11th at the RBC Heritage, $6,400 is a really good price tag for JT Poston. So I got no issue playing him. Jake Knapp, sure. Got no issue playing him. He's a high upside, very low ceiling type of golfer. So be careful with that. I do like his potential. Cam Davis, or as I call him, Cammy Boy Davis, I think that's fine. He's also a high risk, high reward type of golfer. Be careful with that. Matt McCarty, I only like when the greens are huge. His ball striking isn't super great. He's not very good when it comes to, tight fairways or even tight line or tight tree line golf courses. Not saying that that's what Quail Hollow is, but any type of trees that get in the way, I just don't trust Matt McCarty that much. And then his iron game into the greens, he's a phenomenal putter. Let's put it that way. You put him on the green, he's going to two-putt most of the time. He might even hit some bombs. But he has to hit the ball on the green, and I don't think his iron game is good enough to do that. He is worth $6,300, though. I think that's fine. Bud Cauley at 62, I like. Kitayama at 62, that's fine. Keith Mitchell at 62, I like that a lot. Keith Mitchell, put him on a Bermuda golf course, which is what we'll be on. Oh man, sign me up. I think Keith Mitchell at 6,200, and he's having some success at the Truist Championship right now. He might be high owned, but I think he's also worth a play. Is this Rasmus Niergaard Peterson? I think that's fine. I mean, he's got high upside, low floor. Again, a risky play. Christian Bezuidenhout, I don't mind. I probably won't play him though. I think his upside is limited. Davis Riley, he just missed the cut at the alternate event, the Myrtle Beach Classic, which is a golf course I think that's really good, like best suited for him. His game's all over the place, so be careful with that. Nick Taylor, I guess I don't have an issue playing Nick Taylor. Good ball striker. He just has to make his putts and not three putt. Bridgman's fine. Yeah, I don't mind going to Bridgman. Ryan Gerard, I think is a good grinded out type of golfer. So like the Honda Classic is usually, or I shouldn't say the Honda, the Cognizant is where you expect him to play well, and he did play well. I'm not saying that this course is going to be similar to that, but I do think it's going to be a tougher track than say the CJ Cup Byron Nelson, which he missed the cut by one shot. The cut was -5. So he was -4, had a bad round 2. I think he was in that AM PM wave, and the PM wave had a ton of wind and bad weather that kind of came through. So I think he got caught up in that, and that's probably why he missed the cut, to be honest with you. So I got no issue going back to Ryan Gerard. I think that's actually a decent play. Glover, I don't mind. I've used him a lot throughout this video as an example of how you can put lineups together. Eckroat, probably staying away from Eckroat. Don't mind Hoagie, staying away from Michael Kim. I know Michael Kim became friends with Pat Mayo, and he gets the Pat Mayo bump from time to time. I think Michael Kim is like the famous Dennis Green clip, Denny Green from the Arizona Cardinals, who used to be a Vikings coach, by the way. He is who we thought he was. He's Michael Kim. He's very erratic off the tee. I don't trust this game, and I'll continue not to. Kita Nakajima, I don't mind. I think, sure, why not? Some good finishes here. Not a bad play. I'm not rushing to play it. Sam Stevens is a good play. Finished third at the Byron Nelson. He does play well usually in Texas. So I don't know. Well, this was his home event, actually. So we're a little bit far away from Texas to really, to care. Kevin Hughes fine. Woodland's fine. Olison's fine. Lopez Chikara, is he on Live? No, he's on the DP World Tour. Okay, that's fine. I'm not rushing to play him, by the way. So any of these golfers here in the 5K range, they're most likely going to be adjusted to be 6K golfers. And what I always say to everybody is don't fall in love with the 6K golfer, but never disrespect him. Normally what I end up doing is I set all the exposures for 6K golfers to be 3%. I don't want to play any of these guys more than 3%. They're all in this price range for a reason. They have shown they're not trustworthy. But I will also say this, I say this in a lot of my videos, every one of these golfers, except for the PGA professionals, sorry to pick on those guys, I wanted to be one of them for a while, Each one of these guys is here because they've won. They have won somewhere in their life playing golf. That's the only way to get to the PGA Tour, which means each one of these guys is capable of winning. The golfers in the 6K range have either not showed that they can win on the PGA Tour. They're either young and haven't shown that they can yet, or they're older in their twilight years, or they're journeymen that just, make cuts every single week, but don't finish better than 40th place. So that's what you got on the table here with the 6K golfers. Be careful. Don't go all in on any of these guys. Nico Echeverria, I think when he is on, he is lethal. He goes guns blazing. I think that's fine. Chris Kirk, sure. Nick Dunlap, no. This guy's game is in such disarray, not even worth the play. EVR just had a really good finish at the Byron Nelson, and he's been playing the Truist pretty decent. I don't know what happened after Saturday's round. I don't mean that in a way like something happened bad, and I have no idea why. I didn't watch Saturday. I have no idea what the results were for Saturday's round at the Truist. EVR seems like a good value play. Griffin on a Bermuda track, I think, is a good play. Carl Phillips is a good play. Eric Cole is a good play. Mac Hughes is dominating the alternate event, or he was after round one. I think he's a good play. Matthew Pavon, he did win the Farmers Insurance Open last year, so he's got the pedigree to play tough tracks well. Again, don't disrespect a 6K golfer, but don't fall in love with one. Grazerman's fine. McGreevy's fine. Tom McKibben, did he play live? He did go to live and hasn't been playing very good. Yeah, probably skip out on him. I mean, 2% or less. Seamus Powers, fine. He's playing well at the alternate event as well. Patrick Rogers, whatever. So here's what I'll say. There's some golfers, I'm not going to continue on with the rest of these guys. There's some golfers down. Oh my God, hold on, timeout. Do you see what I see? Who is priced under Michael Block? Phil Mickelson. Are you kidding me? If Phil and Michael Block went out and played golf and they played 10 rounds of golf, Phil Mickelson is winning 10 out of 10 times. Michael Block is not beating Phil Mickelson. This is insane. Insanity. Michael Block. Oh my God. Get out of here. What the? You know what? I'm going to go down to Michael Block. I'll finish this out. Sammy Valimaki, don't mind. Lee Hodges, probably not going to get there. Vegas, not going to get there. Hosler, could do worse. Harry Hall's fine. Adam Hadwin, could do worse. Ryo Hisatsune, I think is fine, but him missing the cup here, or missing the cut, while, playing some pretty good golf leading into that event. That's concerning, because this should have been a tournament that he played well at, and he didn't even come close to making the cut. Yeah, that's not great. He also had an AM PM tee time that week, where the PM wave was actually on day 2, the worst wave out of all of them. Having a 73 that first day, and it's actually, hold on, maybe I can turn this around. Who knows what happened here? He didn't have bad weather. It was an AM Thursday round. No idea what happened there. But Friday during the hard round, the Friday PM wave, he shot a 69, which is good. So maybe that's worth it. That's worthwhile. But yeah, that's where I'll stop it. I guess Matt Wallace. Haven't really seen enough of him to care much. But I'll stop it there, because golfers under Michael Block, I do see names worth mentioning, but I'm just going to leave it at this. Those are like 1 or 2% plays. I wouldn't go any further than that. So that is the end of the first look. We're about an hour and a half into this, so I don't even know who would have watched it all the way up until now. But if you did, hey, appreciate you all. Just a reminder, there is a win the pot giveaway. Starts at $20. So no matter what, someone is going to win $20. From there, I am adding $2 for every one new subscriber that comes to this channel. I have stamped the starting subscriber mark at 831. You can see that all the way over there to the left, all the way to the left of the screen. You see the goal 831 out of 850. 831 is what I'm starting the week at. For every one new subscriber over that, I add $2 to the pot. And then Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, I will be running this giveaway. I will be live running this giveaway. Again, the Masters got up to $50. If you want this pot to grow, if you are not a subscriber to this channel, subscribe. Again, every one new subscriber equals $2 to the pot. So subscribe if you haven't. Share this with your friends, get them to subscribe if they haven't. And let's grow the channel and grow the pot all together. And then at the same time, once you become a subscriber, it will go towards this giveaway, which I'm giving $1,000 worth of giveaways away. 2 memberships to SweetSpotDFS.com. One is an annual membership, one's a lifetime membership. And then I'm giving away 2 $100 cash giveaways. So if you don't ever use fantasy tools, that's fine. I'm still going to give away $100. And this will be like, I'm going to draw the names once we reach 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers. I will do the giveaway, and it'll be a first come, first served basis. So if I call your name and I say, okay, out of the giveaways that you see on the screen, which one do you want? They'll provide it for me, and then that will remove that prize from the giveaway. So if you're the first person called and you don't want any of the memberships, you can take the $100 cash giveaway. Simple as that. The only thing you need to do for this giveaway is to sign up at SweetSpotDFS.com. I went over it in the beginning of the video. I showed you how to sign up. It's super easy, super simple. Go sign up. Once you have an account there with an email address attached to it, that's how I'm doing the draws. You need to have an account in there. And I just found this out. One of the users that had had a monthly giveaway, he goes out to sea for X amount of days, X amount of months, and then comes back. Well, what he ended up doing was he canceled his account as he went out to sea because he was never going to use, or he wasn't going to be able to use it. He ended up deleting his account. So if I were to reach 1,000 subscribers and you end up canceling your account or you delete it, you're out of the giveaway. So don't do that. Don't do that. Don't cancel and delete your account. Cancel the payment. If you're a paying member, just cancel the payment. That way you don't get charged anymore. And if you have issues with that, I can help you out with that. Not a big deal. So anyways, this is available to you guys as well. It's a bunch of giveaways. It's a major championship. It's all about growing. All of us growing at the same time, growing our bankrolls, growing the channel, growing our wallets. You know, that's all it's about. So hopefully we can help each other with all of that. And that's all that I've got for you guys in this DraftKings first look. So appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.